Welcome to the U-Turn Podcast. My friend, this is Ashley Stahl. I'm your host, and you are in the right place if you're ready to create a business, a career, a personal brand, or just a life that you're so proud of. And every single week, we want to support you by bringing you PhDs, subject matter experts, psychology practitioners, business leaders, all here on the show to elevate your success in business and also in life so that you can leave a legacy, you can amplify your authority, and you can really skyrocket the amount of opportunities you're creating for yourself in your career, whether you're corporate or you're a business owner. And if you are new here, again, my name is Ashley Stahl. I'm an international bestselling author of the book U-Turn, Get Unstuck, Discover Your Direction, Design Your Dream Career. And most importantly, I'm the CEO and founder of Wise Whisper Agency. I'm a top 100 TEDx speaker on the internet, and I was so inspired to create Wise Whisper and help clients craft their signature talk. We've helped hundreds of clients craft their talk, and we've also helped so many of them land spots on some of the biggest stages in the world, including the TED and TEDx stage. And so I am here on a mission to help every changemaker I know impact millions. Also, before we get into this episode, shout out to our friend Andy B. Mackin, the artist that has gifted us this sick new music for the podcast. Let's get into this week's episode. Okay, U-Turn friends, you know that I either bring good friends on the show or I bring very special people doing very special things on the show. And today I really wanted to bring Bill and Theresa Armour onto the show. They've founded something that you're probably deeply aware of called Burke Williams Spa. And if you haven't heard of it, what are you even doing? And are you taking care of yourself? Because I've been going for decades. And the thing that I'm really excited about is to just hear what the story is behind just looking at this brand. It's really rare to find a couple who can really balance the demands of business and also marriage, and even crazier to see them doing well at both. So Bill and Theresa, founder of Burke Williams, they've done exactly that, and they've been together for nearly 40 years. And Burke Williams, if you're not familiar with it, is one of California's most iconic luxury spa brands. And what I love about them is it still feels accessible. There's certain spas and price points where it's kind of like, I can't treat myself to this. It's too much of a stretch. I feel like Burke Williams has done a really good job of being accessible to the everyday person who is out there and wants a luxury spa experience. They have more amenities than so many spas I've been to. It's really a one-stop shop. And their journey began in 1984 with one idea, which was to bring the sophistication and care of European style spas to American clients. So over the decades, they've transformed that vision into a multi-location sanctuary renowned for service, wellness, innovation, all of the things. So needless to say, today I'm going to ask them about relationship, business, how they built it, and self-care. Because, I mean, who doesn't need some self-care? I know I specifically do. So Bill, Theresa, thank you so much for coming on the show.
You are welcome, but I'd rather ask you questions. Will you come on and be our marketing person?
Oh my gosh. You know what?
That was quite the introduction. I much appreciate that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I had a coaching business for 15 years after I was working for Obama in national security when I was in my 20s. And I really thought like coaching is half coaching and half becoming a marketer. Like,
Good.
you know,
We're always selling something, aren't we?
yeah, we are. We are.
Yeah. It's
Well, so
communication.
take me into 1984 when you both looked at each other and said, we're going to do this. I think most people, if they think about creating a spa, they have like a mom and pop energy where they're like, I'm going to create this one location thing, and this is what I'm going to do, versus you both seem to have been thinking really big. So talk to me about the beginning moment where you made this decision.
I'm going to let you start.
Okay.
You tell a better story.
It's an interesting story because it's really a love story. So we had just gotten married, and life changed when we got married, and we settled down, and we had a baby and a baby and a baby, and life really changed a lot. And so Bill, who had had another business and it was a successful business, he had sold it and he wasn't working. And
Mm.
there was at home with kids doing things I'd never known how to do. And I felt overworked. I felt underseen. We didn't have the money that we'd had before, and I felt stuck. I felt very stuck. And so I was talking about pain points. I guess we would call that complaining to my husband about what I didn't like. And he listened and he listened very carefully. And he said, well, what do you want? And what would you like to do? And where would you like to be? And I knew exactly the answer to those questions. So I was young, I was in my 20s, and I thought, I want to be a place where someone sees me and takes care of me. Because as a mom, I was taking care of other people all day long and anticipating needs. And I saw how important that was, but I wanted someone to anticipate my needs. And then I was at home and, there are dirty dishes and diapers and it's a mess. I wanted someplace pretty. And so he was asking me all these questions. And I wanted a place where I actually could relax. I could have people understand what I wanted and feel good physically because I hurt. I was busy working all the time. And so he asked question after question, and he decided he was going to create that. And it
Mm,
was through all of this questioning, and it was really beautiful. And I would say, but I don't want to get off the table. I don't want to go home. I don't want to go home after 1 hour. I can't bear it. There's too much to do there. And so everything from the quiet rooms to, well, if I stay there all day, then I'll be hungry. Then you have to have snacks there. And I wanted luxury, but I was broke.
yeah.
And so it was really, that was part of the decision too, which was how do you treat people with a kind of modern luxury, which is not exclusive, it's inclusive. It's
Yeah.
actually saying, I see you, I understand your needs, and I'm here to meet your needs, and you're important. And I don't care if you're a movie star, because we got a lot of those in the
Right.
beginning and we still have them, or if you're a housewife, or if you're an assistant, or whatever you do, you're important. And when you walk through those doors, we're going to treat you as if you matter, your life matters, we see you, and we're going to take care of you.
Mm. I know that we live in a world where it's like it feels like it's taking away from people to take care of themselves. And, people look at their schedule and they're like, I can't just carve out this hour to do this thing. Um,
Well,
I,
so
yeah,
let me add to
yeah,
the entrepreneurial side of the story because she tells it much better than I do. But it was a convergence of really an entrepreneurial spirit and idea with really wanting to accommodate the needs of Teresa. And so we had, like Teresa said, I had had another successful business and we had traveled around the world going to different spas and realized that when we came home, you couldn't get a legitimate professional massage back in 1984.
mm,
And so, it was all under the auspices of prostitution at that time.
wow,
So, yeah, and it was really a wow experience and an eye-opening experience to come at it from that angle. And so, the idea from the business side was we know everybody loves massage. We know
yeah,
everybody would love to get one, but you couldn't. So it was just a matter of bringing something that had a high demand and making it accessible. So it was converging. When she had expressed this idea, the light went on and sort of converged those two ideas. Why not bring something that everybody wants to the city? And that's what we did. That's what we
yeah,
started. By the way, we started out with one location in your intro. You thought, or you kind of inferred that we had grandiose ideas, and
yeah,
the truth is we didn't.
mm,
It was a challenge to get it off the ground. No landlord would lease us space because we were a massage business.
mm.
We were, so anyway, we had a long time working to find an actual space. We started out with one location in a parking garage, two stories down in a high-rise building in
Where
Brentwood.
was this?
In Brentwood.
Brentwood. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it was, yeah. So, it was sort of an inauspicious start, and then it was really a test to see, does this idea have legs? And lo and behold, it did. And then
Right.
one led to another, and to another, and to another. But it was really a very humble beginning.
Right. And so no day spas existed. We actually coined the term. And people, when we talk to people, we'd say, well, you come to this place and you get a massage. And people would say things like, do you take your clothes off? And um,
Wow.
no one knew. So when you talk about the mom and pop, nothing like this existed.
Wow.
So when we created it, and it was in the 80s, so AIDS was this very
Oh,
big deal.
yeah.
So we thought, okay, well, we have to really stay away from prostitution and we have to stay away from any kind of sexual immorality. So each room was not only a massage room, but there was a jacuzzi in each room and a cold plunge in each room. So people could do things individually, which they didn't like. And we actually ended up growing so rapidly and people loved it so much. So we did hit the ground running and actually created a second and a third very rapidly, but we made joint jacuzzis and people like that community feeling we found very quickly.
Mm.
Yeah, it didn't start out as a day spa.
When you think about businesses growing their sales beyond forecasts, you probably think about a product with very high demand, a very focused brand, and influence-driven marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business making selling simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Shopify is home to the number one checkout on the planet, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going. So if you're growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout brands like Mattel and Heinz use. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/U-turn, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/U-turn to upgrade your selling today. Again, that's shopify.com/U-turn.
Started out as a massage center.
Mm.
And from there, we realized that if we added the amenities of a spa to what we were doing, we could coin the term day spa. So we were the originators of that phrase, of that term. I wish I had trademarked it.
Yeah.
I'd be in a different atmosphere right now,
Yeah.
but we coined the term day spa, and we opened up then our second location in Santa Monica, and we
Yeah.
seem to have had a propensity for two floors down because we got another office building 2 floors down in the basement, but this time we built jacuzzis and saunas and steam rooms and really complemented the treatments with a true resort spa experience. And so that's where that was sort of an evolving genesis of how we began. And today it's a full-blown luxury resort style spa that you can get all of the amenities at any fine resort, but you're here in the city and you can access it for an hour or you can access it for 6 hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the model.
Mm. Yeah, actually, Burke Williams, I grew up in California, so that was kind of like the thing that I did with my mom, is we both had our membership and we would go once a month together and we would try to get there the middle of the day and enjoy the amenities before we got a massage. And it was also somewhere I would go when my work was too much and I just needed to check out a little bit. And so it's crazy to think that that wasn't normal. The only reference point I would imagine is probably like Turkish bathhouses or something that people had, of like naked people and self-care. And I don't even know, what would pair with that.
There were Russian baths. We went to New
Russian
York.
baths. Yeah.
The Russian baths, all the men, the foreign men, it's true, they were foreign,
Yeah.
and they all do this, and they would group together, men or women, and we copied that because we had wheat stocks, because we have wet rooms
Yeah.
where you're just cleansed with wheat stocks, and we got a lot of great ideas from them.
That's so funny. And my company, we have like a done for you thing where we write and book speeches, and a lot of people ask us to get them TED Talks. So that's been like something we've done quite extensively. And we helped one client write his TED Talk, and his opener was about how he was in the Netherlands and how they were saying like you go to a sauna in the Netherlands if you don't feel well, like that's how you clear sickness. And he wanted to do as the Dutch do, and he was told that they go naked and that's what he needs to do. And he's from Japan, and that's not what you do in Japan. So he said, you know what, I'm going to do as the Dutch do. He shows up in the spa, whips open the towel, and everybody else has a towel.
Oh no, oh no. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's so funny. But okay, I want to ask you both about relationship because I imagine there's people listening that want to start a business with their partner. And I have a lot of friends who they've started a business with their partner, and behind closed doors, they'll tell me, yeah, like, this one's going pedal to the metal and I feel neglected. Or, how have you both learned to become an asset to each other in building this business without it being too much or without it just killing the connection? Or I imagine there's more than one dinner you've sat down and been like, okay, no talking about work. We're just doing dinner tonight.
Actually, no.
No,
What
yeah.
usually happens is that the dinners are kind of what would you call hijacked by grandkids or kids or whatever, and so it takes its natural course. But no, I think I think what we've done well and what we started out doing well was we had our priorities. We understood what our priorities were, and we agreed on what they were. So our faith came first, our family came, second, that nothing was going to, create any kind of roadblocks with our family culture. And then beyond that, it was our value system. We're aligned in our values. And so what we want to bring through business to the world, to our communities, is completely aligned. Of course, we want to make money. Of course, we want it to grow. But more than that, both Theresa and I are passionate about bringing something of value to our local communities, transforming lives, transforming employees. Those kinds of things actually matter more to us than the dollar value of the business. And so it's really, in answer to your question, an alignment of values that we understood from the beginning.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think there's something else. So when we started, because we were the only show in town, we were getting offers from everywhere and everyone to create spas. And people would call from Hawaii, they'd fly us out to New York, they would all of Costa Rica. We went to Costa Rica in the rainforest. They were all very exciting offers, but we turned them all down. And we said, no, our family, we had little kids, and we said, we need to have dinner together every single night and to keep our family together. So that was our priority. We actually opened we had 11 locations in California, but always California because you can fly home within an hour
Yeah.
and we'll have dinner together. So it was not just what we thought, it was what we did.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I think is really important is we have very, very different skill sets and we don't compete with those skill sets. And
Mm,
so I know what his talents are, and they're not mine at all.
Very limited.
He's totally money, he's visionary, and I create beauty and I go to the details. And so we have such great respect for what the other one does that we don't go into each other's lanes.
yeah.
So
Wow.
we ask each other questions, we listen to the answers, and it's kind of like when you have a partner at home, someone takes out the trash every night. You don't fight over who takes out the trash. You know whose job that is. And so it's kind of like we know whose job what is.
I take out the trash.
So that's how we work.
Mm, mm. I love hearing this because I think at the end of the day, two people who are bringing their gifts to a business, inevitably the business is going to be served by that. And I think a lot of people struggle to know what their gifts actually are. So it's a beautiful thing to see that you both have that. What are some of the challenges, like key challenges? Because you're in a service-driven business. People can be brutal. Like I run an agency. We've had 120 clients go through our signature offers to craft their speeches, get booked around the world as a speaker. We've probably had 5 clients that I'm like, ugh, wish we didn't take those ones on. And maybe I was a new startup and we needed the revenue. Maybe I just missed something, whatever it was. I'm actually pretty proud that more than 90% of the clients we've had, we've enjoyed and they've enjoyed us. But it doesn't change the fact that those tough customers feel like the squeakiest wheel. And the more successful you are, the more lawsuits you get. Like every friend I have that's made more than $10 million of revenue is getting the weirdest lawsuits. And it's so hard to keep your nervous system. I mean, I guess you know somebody who has a spa to bring your blood pressure down. But what are some of the biggest challenges that you've faced along the way that we can share with some of the entrepreneurs listening that are starting a business, or starting to think bigger for their business?
Well,
Okay.
I'll start. One of the things that was interesting for us right off the bat, as I had said, Bill had really, we started this because it was my need. So it was very self-centered. This is
Yeah.
what I like, this is what I want, this works for me. But we noticed immediately that people walked in one way, and they were kind of those people you don't want to deal with. You know, when you live, Los Angeles, California, it's busy, it's crowded, it's stressful. Where am I going to park? There's a
Yeah.
lot going on. And people would walk in one way. After their services, they would walk out as an entirely different person. And we saw, oh my gosh, this is so important and this is so big. And we realized that we had something much bigger than ourselves. So
Yeah.
this kind of interesting thing started to happen internally for me. It was like a different consciousness. And the consciousness really was, oh, there's a reason this is happening. There's something bigger, there's purpose that we can do for someone else. So even if someone is grumpy, even if someone is difficult, we can help that.
Yeah.
We have a place where we can actually soothe that. And so all of a sudden, this place that was really about me became about not just moms, not just about women, but about all people. And so the purpose was, how do we impact people so that their lives are different? Because you can touch an individual, and that's important, but that individual, you never know what influence they have. And they're
Right.
going out into the world being kinder and being better just because of the service they've had. And so we actually welcome all that, and we have trained our staff. It's become, oh, that's what we do. We're trying to impact the world and influence the world so that those people are different.
Yeah.
And circling back to the question too, in terms of what some of the challenges, we've had our share.
Yeah.
There's no question that, the differences of opinion, different ways to approach different problems, they're going to pop up. This is not a fairy tale. This is,
Right.
a real life drama going
Yeah.
on, and we're just blessed that it's not overly dramatized. But the differences really come from, I think, our basic personalities, which Theresa tends to be more feeling oriented, more intuitive in terms of the people skills and things like that. I'm more black and white, cut and dried. Let's get to the point. And so, we have continual meetings all of the time with multiple people. And so we'll come out of the meetings with different impressions and different thoughts and different ways that we thought it was going. But we've learned over the years, it's a learning process,
Yeah.
that you have to really take a step back, realize you're not right sometimes, and your mate is really offering something that is something that you can use to enhance what your basic skill set is. So
Yeah.
it is a process, and it's not that we still don't do that. It's
Yeah.
just that we've learned how to do it better and better over the years. But for anybody considering this, I would just say be prepared that you have to be willing. You
Yeah.
have to be able to set your own ego to the side. You have to be able to be willing to step in, because at the end of the day, we go home together.
Yeah.
And we're in the car together, and the one thing we value is our home life, our family life, and what we won't allow to happen are differences that are festered here to have a negative impact on our family. So it's a resolution, and we work together to just to work through those situations, but they
Mm,
do it.
mm, mm. It's really fun to hear how connected you both are. I think one of the hardest things is to please customers and also to hire at the scale that you've hired. What are some of the things you've learned with hiring rock stars? Like I look at my team, my executive director spent 13 years at Apple. She was crafting speeches for Steve Jobs' executive team, and she's who I have overseeing our speech writing. Like the kind of people that I've had to find have taken so many iterations, so much trial and error. Um, and meanwhile, you have to serve your customers. So you don't want your customer to be the guinea pig. How do you find people that you trust? What are some interview questions or thoughts that you have around hiring that have been game changers for you?
One of the first things that's, I think, important about our company is that we hire from within.
Mm,
So we were small when we started, and because massage wasn't huge, we got the guru of massage in Santa Monica. He was this French gentleman, and he hired only the best. So our massage therapists were fantastic, and he kind of led the way. We had facials, and so I knew I wanted that to be absolutely incredible. But from then on, we were growing pretty rapidly, and what was happening is. Um, the culture, we were small, and Bill and I were there all the time. And so it was hands-on, all hands on deck. And when people see you and how you operate and what your values are, they either fit quickly or they don't.
mm,
So that was very clear. But then people come up through the system. And so for us, it's fascinating. The head of treatments for us, who heads all of massage and our facials, she had applied as a job as a facialist, as an esthetician
mm,
7 years ago, and she actually wasn't hired. We didn't think she could do the job, someone, whoever was hiring. And she came back, she got more training, came back, and she worked her way up and moved from here to there to the other place. Our guest experience, which is crucial to us, she's just a rock star, and she started on phones.
mm.
We people answering the phones to set appointments. And when people are good and you show them, we always want people to help us. That's always been our culture, is like, what can you do to help us? This is what we're looking for.
Yeah.
And the cream always rises to the top, and they come forward and they say, I could do it. I could do it. I could do it. Show me. I want to learn, or I can do it, or I can bring something. And so then she became a manager, and then she became a district manager, and now she's in charge of all of our guest services. And we have over 1,500 employees. So these are people that understand the culture, love the culture, and just live it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there are traits that we do look for and value. And like Theresa said, the cream sort of rises to the top, but
Yeah.
we're a company that adapts very quickly, and adaptability is just key to what we do. The world changes quickly. We've seen more and more competition over the years. We've had to, you know, grow from certain business model ideas and practices into and adapt in a week, adapt in a day, adapt in a month to these kinds of changes. So we look for those kinds of people that are
Yeah.
entrepreneurial. We just don't care where you came from in terms of degrees or experience. We care that you got that fire in your eyes and that you're willing to be there at midnight. You're willing to be there at 6 o'clock, whatever it is. But there's this level of this entrepreneurship that we look for. And then I think secondarily to that, or actually primarily, but you're trying to get a sense of the person, and that is the culture. And so everything we do is based on truth.
Mm.
It's based on a value system that the anchor is truth. So, that's not as easy as it sounds, and that takes a while for these people to rise up through the company, that we have a chance to get to know them, who they are, what their values are, and
Mm.
just yeah, it comes together with I don't know that we don't have a manual for hiring. We have a sense for hiring.
One thing we do, we call it the Dora test, because Dora's the house keeper here in our home office. And whenever someone's applying for a job, we have them wait for a little bit. And we just send Dora out. And Dora starts cleaning and doing things. And we see if the person talks to her and how they treat Dora.
Mm.
And if they're not willing to be kind, if they're a statusy kind of person, that's not someone we want.
Mm.
And we always say, Dora, did they talk to you? How did they treat you? She starts engaging with them very simply, and we get the Dora report.
That's
And
hilarious. The door
that,
report. You know, everybody's looking for something different. And like, I think some people, some leaders want hires that have a mindset of like putting their head down, doing the work. Some of them want more communicators. It's all an infusion of values. What did you not think about when you started this business that you wish you thought more about or you were more prepared for everybody else listening who is on the path, on the road, and maybe they're not thinking about this thing that you kind of wish you, I don't know, had more training on or understanding of.
Well, I think the first thing for me from the business side of it that comes to mind is the challenge of running a business in California.
Yeah.
I wish I'd have had a bit more training on lawsuits and legal
Oh my gosh.
ramifications and, you know, the challenges that this state puts in front of you with regulations and then every year they pile on the next 50 that you have to quickly adhere to. So we never had in-house counsel. It was always, but we have and have had to have full-time in-house counsel just to deal with these kinds of situations.
Yeah.
So being aware, being, you know, eyes wide open and really thinking about those landmines comes to mind as something that I didn't consider. The other businesses I had weren't so people oriented. They were more product oriented, so didn't have quite the same challenges. So that would be an arena that I would say really consider the legal ramifications of what you're getting involved in.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It is pretty wild. Like, you know, there is no training on even the admin side of business and like what you need to get to your CPA and win. And I feel so much compassion for entrepreneurs like myself because it's just we're already being bold, getting out there and turning nothing into something. And next thing you know, you get fines and all sorts of things. I overpaid my taxes. I've been chasing the IRS. Their hotline has like auto, what's it called, hung up on me. I'm like, how do I get my tax refund? You know, like there's
Yeah.
so much that we just don't know. What's the best piece of advice both of you have ever gotten in business if you had to pick one that you really hold near and dear to your heart or your mind? And I know that's a big question, so you take your second with it.
big question. I think one thing that's really kind of changed my thinking is don't try and separate your personal life from your professional life in terms of values.
Mm,
Because I thought at first you had to do that. Oh, you bring something different. You have to be a professional person. And I thought, and it took a while to really learn that the core values we hold dear are the very core values that we have within our business. And those are the ones that serve us and serve our guests and actually have people wanting to come back because it's all about service. It's about humility, it's about integrity, it's about compassion, it's about courage. I mean, it takes a lot of courage, as you're saying, to do what we're doing. So that's what I would say.
that's a good one.
Uh,
And yeah, Bill, curious for yours.
by the way, your story is amazing.
Oh my gosh, do you know
Yeah,
my story?
well, a little bit of it, but
Okay.
you're definitely a fellow entrepreneur. I mean, you got
I
yeah,
kind of
what you put together
remember.
is pretty astounding. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I would say one bit of advice that I got was vulnerability.
Mm,
You know, when you have that spirit of starting something and you want to do it your way and you want to you think you have all of the answers. Somebody once shared with me that the power of vulnerability, in other words, engaging other people into your vision, is a lot more productive has a lot more upside than I'll do it my way and figure out my way and just sending out orders. So, and that was a hard one.
mm.
You know, so working on that over the years, I wouldn't say I'm all that good at it, but
There was,
think about it once in a
no,
while.
there was this book I remember reading a million years ago. It was called The Millionaire Mind. And there
Mm,
were all these things that people had in common that were highly, highly successful. The
mm,
first one, do you want to guess what it was?
mm. Mindset. I don't know. Like the desire. What is it? Intention.
Supportive mate.
Ah,
Who so believed in them and had confidence in them that they didn't say, "Oh, don't spend our life savings," because we've spent our life savings over and over again, thinking,
yeah.
put the house up. What are we going to do? We need more money. We need more money. So it's someone who believes in you. The second thing was that they had this love, love, love for the thing they were going to do,
Mm,
right? Actually, that was their biggest interest.
mm,
And they moved towards that interest with everything they had. But the third thing, it was a really funny title because I remember the chapter. It was called the 900 Club.
mm,
And it was for people who had lower SAT scores.
mm.
Said what happens with people who have lower SAT scores is they don't think they're the smartest person in the room. And so
Interesting.
they actually look to other people that think, okay, I might be great at X, but this guy is my accountant and he's so much better than I am. This guy is my lawyer and he's so much better. And this woman is the researcher and this one. And so by understanding your own vulnerabilities is what you're saying. And what I said with humility, it takes you to a place that you couldn't go by yourself. You collaborate.
Hmm. I always used to say when I worked in national security, like my saving grace was knowing the limits of my knowledge. Like, because the worst thing you could do when you work in intelligence is assume you're correct about something that isn't for sure. People's lives are on the line, but um, it's fun to hear the reading you've done. Is there another book that has sat with both of you and changed the way that you maybe are approaching business or thinking about business?
For me, that's easy. I mean, I started with a book called Sacred Commerce.
Mm,
For me, because I have this kind of understanding of and love of mind, body, and spirit. And I thought, how do we put that with business? And how do I put those things together? And I thought, holy business, that's it, sacred commerce. You can do two things at once. You can serve people and make a living doing it. And
hmm
so that really changed everything for me. It changed everything.
mm, mm. And Bill, any book that has stuck with you long term?
My story's a little different. I don't think I've ever read a business book.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Honestly, I've read so many business books, and I was just upstate New York this weekend for a trip. And I was like, I think I'm gonna buy a trashy beach novel. I just thought to myself, I don't remember the last time I gave myself a permission slip to read nothingness, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
I do find when you go to the airport, you naturally browse the books as you're waiting for your
yeah.
flight. I, I, it, I wouldn't say it's humorous, but it's somewhat entertaining. The 10 easy steps, the 6 easy steps,
Mm,
the 3 steps to this, the 5 step, and it's like, wow, if you've unlocked that formula,
give me a
and
call. Yeah.
exactly. So more have a spirit of just adapting and just trying to figure it out. I think I'm not saying, and I would advocate that for everybody by any means, because I think I've gone down roads that I probably didn't have to go down. Maybe, could have been a bit different. But in the end, I think all of the learning experiences that came out of trying something well, I'll give you a couple of examples real quickly
I love them.
that in 2008 when the recession hit and it was severe,
Yeah.
and we're a luxury brand, disposable income, type of business. We were hammered. We saw, revenues drop by 40% in 2 months, and it was just. And so I remember the board of directors meeting we had, and sitting there saying, "Okay," and sharing them the numbers. And 2 people on the board said, "I think you should close. It's time to get out."
Wow.
And so I said, "Nah, the hell with that," or I'll try and figure it out. And thank God we were able to figure it out. It wasn't just me; it was the whole team. Everybody rolled up their sleeves and figured out, okay, no, we're going to beat this thing, and we did. And
Mm,
we got through that recession, and then only to face COVID,
mm,
back in 2020. So again, board of directors, that were closed for a year, all of everything that, the governor shut everything down. And it's like, how are we going to get through this one? And
Yeah.
the board again recommended that we close down. So it's just that sense. I think had I read books, had I gone by normal ways of thinking, that we probably would have closed.
Wow.
But it was just an ignorance on my part that might have served us in the end, because we fought through that one and here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a fight, and you really don't know what the outcome is. And as much as we can try really hard and do all the work, it's sometimes just this element of grace that fills in the gaps and allows a business to do well. And I think the real personal development for a lot of entrepreneurs, and this is just my own opinion, is like not making it personal what results your business gets. Because sometimes you did all the right things and it's just the market doesn't want it anymore, or something changed and you have to
Mhm.
course correct. How have you both combated any sort of burnout? Because it's a lot of work to build what you've built.
We're always trying to innovate, and so it's fun. I want to go back to what you were both just talking about, because for COVID, that was really interesting. When the government shut down hair salons, nail salons, and spas, when they decided to reopen them, they forgot about spas. And it was not something they even remembered. And we were shut down. And so Bill, and I just thought it was brilliant. And he decided to get a coalition together of other spas. And then he got a lobbyist, and they went to Sacramento and said, we count and we matter. And so, because we so believe in what we're doing,
Mm,
and it is bigger than us now, right? Because we consider it a place of rest for a culture. People say self-care, but it's like people track their calories, people track their, how many steps they take every day, but they don't track what they're putting into their minds.
yeah.
And so there's this burnout. And so we really believe that we're that place where you go and have your body, but it's a time to rest. It's a time for beauty. It's a time for peace. Anyway, he went and changed everything. They opened up spas, and then he's still in touch with these people. So creating relationships, creating innovations, what we do, how we do, when we do, I think it's all really pretty exciting for us to figure it all out. I mean,
Yeah.
challenges kind of keep you alive.
I love your relationship to them. I feel like sometimes being an entrepreneur feels to me like I've run a marathon and I'm on the floor at the finish line and somebody's telling me it's one more mile and I didn't actually win.
Just read the sign.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's how I feel sometimes because my agency now, it's been a journey and I'm just at that point where we're scaling and the business doesn't need me so bad. It needs me, but not that bad. And I can taste a whole different world where I can create new things because I have space to do it. And that's what I'm the most excited about is to create things that are valuable. Um, Thank you
You know,
so much. Oh yeah, please.
no, I was just going to say, you used the word journey,
Yeah.
and that resonates with both of us, that the whole idea of a journey, is this, it unfolds as you're on it.
Yeah.
And you're just adapting to what's ever's unfolding. It's not a vacation where you know where you're going with a specific destination. It's you pack a bag and you start down the road. And what you just said about, your journey
Yeah.
is exactly what happens with people who are willing to step into this world. So
Yeah.
congratulations.
I guess my final question on that note is like choosing a partner. Like you talked at the beginning about core values being aligned. I know values are an interesting thing because some people will say they value spirituality and that means they're playing with tarot cards every morning. Other people will say it means they go to church every Sunday. Like just really taking a look at what these core values are, I think is pretty crucial. But what else would you say? Like I'm in a relationship the past 4 or 5 months with an amazing guy. We're both entrepreneurs. We share a lot of the values. We're different in some ways. Like, what would be your thoughts, for someone like me who's listening, and we hope we pick the right person that will help whoever we want to become, in our careers and then some.
I think one thing okay, I just want to say I love how honest you are about how hard it is
Oh my
because
God.
it is. And anyone who thinks it isn't has never done it.
Yeah.
And Um, that's why it's so great to have a partner, right?
Yeah.
Because we can talk about it all the time. And can you believe this? And can you believe that? And what should we do? And so it turns exciting rather than, just a hardship where you're lying on the ground.
Yeah.
But I think one thing that's crucial, and this is a value, is women, I think, tend to compete in relationships. I see that people go into relationships and I'm surrounded by people of all ages and I have kids and girls go in and they think the guy's done something great and they want to compete with it. And I think it's really important not to compete. I mean, your background is so awesome and it's really impressive, just so impressive. But to just know that you're good at what you do and to not compete with a person and love what they do, I think is the thing that makes the relationship work, right? It's just like, I'm not here to compete with you. I am here to love you and support you in what you do best. And I think it's great that you have this new relationship. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And so to really appreciate who that person is, and if they can really appreciate who you are, then together this thing flourishes, right?
Mhm.
I think that's it. I mean, everybody wants their life to have meaning, but it doesn't have to be exactly in the same space.
Yeah.
And so understanding what that space is for you and what that space is for him or for another person is crucial, I think.
Thank you both so much for coming on the show. And it's really fun to meet the founders of a spa I've been going to for way too long. I'm actually in New York now. I don't think you have any locations here, correct?
Yeah.
If you're not loving California law, I'm sure New York law isn't exactly a free for all for you either.
Not where we're headed.
Yeah, yeah, and I certainly will miss getting to go over there, once a month with my membership. But I hope everybody who listens, if you're in California especially, check out Burke Williams, friends. It's awesome. And thanks to both of you for coming on.
Thank you.
You're a gracious host.
It was a
Thank you.
pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to the U-Turn podcast. I hope you learned so much in this episode and you're putting it into action today. We would love to hear from you. Slide into my DMs at Ashley Stahl or leave a written review if you're inspired. It would mean so much to us. Be sure to subscribe to the show because, as you know, the more subscribers we get, the better the guests we can bring you. And in the meantime, if you're looking to skyrocket your personal brand and impact millions, head on over to wisewhisperagency.com to learn more about how we can help you craft your greatest talk of your life, how we can help you get booked on some of the biggest stages in the world, even the TED or TEDx stage. We'd love to hear from you, and that's it for this week.
Trying to solve, always think you know it all, been thinking about you up against that wall. It's too late, I fell on every fall. Holding ground on hers. I'm holding ground on hers. Holding ground on late night drive. What you trying to do tonight? I swear you don't even try. Yeah, you still I can try and make you mine, but I don't think you like guys. I don't think you like guys. I don't think I should try. I guess it's time to give up, but I don't wanna give up, give up, give up. No, 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 no. Scrolling through my phone today, I saw a photo of you. Really thought that I deleted all the photos of you. Forgot how it felt just to be normal with you. Forgot how I felt till I saw you with that late night drive. What you trying to do tonight? I swear you don't even try. Yeah, you still be stupid fine. shooter done.